So you may have noticed I've taken a bit of a break from YouTube. Partly that was because I had a few technical problems that just began to send me stir crazy. Just at the same time as I started recording my latest online course, which is Core Shamanics, which is fine apart from the fact that it needs good quality drummed recordings, and I did not realise how complex that would be. So right in the midst of trying to sort out which microphone to use for YouTube, which microphone to use for the drummed meditations, I got an unexpected opportunity. My first book, Tarot, A Life Guided by the Cards, and my two subsequent books, a booklet on the Younger Futhark runes and my book on running a professional tarot business, have all been self-published, and I quite like the ownership of a project. I quite like setting my own deadlines. But this time a local publisher reached out and asked if I would write a mini guide to tarot for them as a part of their sort of mini guide series. I was quite excited. They asked me to pitch for the book, and so I had full ownership over the book, which I pitched for. I got the contract and agreed to write the book in 2 months, which is a very fast turnaround based on the fact that I was already committed to writing and teaching my online Core Shamanic course. And of course, I still have to work as a tarot reader and a shaman. I have regular clients. I can't afford to just drop the business and hope everyone's there when I'm ready. So it was a monumental task, but the manuscript is in. It's currently being edited, and I have to say I'm really pleased with it. So I thought I'd share with you the premise of the book, and then hoping the tech is on my side, I will begin to share some of the new tarot spreads I've created for this book. Because this book was 30,000 words, and I believe my original book is about 90,000, it would have been easy just to condense my original book, but it felt really important to me to create new content and to publish something that offered new material rather than just rehashing old. So I came up with a concept that people generally come to me for a reading for one of 4 reasons. A lot of people come to me for what I've called a soulful reading. This is the I'm lost. I don't know who I am. I don't know what the purpose of my life is. I'm at a crossroads, not in career or relationship, but in the whole meaning of life. And soulful can also cover things like spirit guides, soul path, life meaning. A lot of people come to me for practical reasons. This might be, is this a good time to sell my house? Am I going to get the job promotion? How do I move from working full-time to running my own business? The day-to-day living, basically. It's probably no surprise that an awful lot of my clients come to me for relationship readings. You may be surprised that they're not always romantic. I do a lot of family readings about perhaps a relationship between a mother and a daughter, or relationships between siblings. In fact, one of the most fascinating readings I did was a family dynamic reading with all 3 siblings on a Zoom call. That was incredibly fascinating. It took me a few minutes to kind of work out how to hold the space. I have to say that I was given a heads up before the booking and asked if the 3 siblings could all be on the call. So not all relationship readings are romantic readings. Often another common one is to do with work colleagues, bosses, and dynamics in work. And then the final reason people come to me, and I've called it supportive, but in essence, it's desperation. It's the I've tried everything else and I don't know what to do. Now, I really sat with this because it would have been easy to leave this out. It would be easy to leave out the I'm at the end of my tether and I don't know what to do. But actually, probably most of us have picked up tarot cards in that moment. And it can be really unsettling if you're already in a really difficult place and you're doing a tarot reading and you get the big bad uglies. So what I've done in the book is, firstly, I've got 4 sections where I introduce good practical spreads for each of the 4 topics, we could say. And then for each of the cards, I do have an overall meaning. I had to link it to the images because I think people always forget we read the images of the card. So I wanted to bring it right into that and actually highlight key symbols or images from the Rider-Waite-Smith card and express why I link this image to the meaning of the card. And then I wanted to give reading points depending on which spread you're using. And obviously for the supportive spread, that allowed me to then create more of a comforting affirmation kind of a meaning. And I had a lot of fun creating a positive affirmation for every card. Before I started teaching, I've lost track of the actual year, but it must be about 12 to 13 years ago now. My original thought was, why try and outshine the best? I will just tell my students to buy a copy of 78 Degrees of Wisdom, and I will add value and hold a safe space for people to explore the book. But then I thought, actually, I do want to bring myself into teaching tarot. I do want to bring my own unique perspective. And I really sat with, what is my unique perspective? And I decided it was that I wanted to get away from this labeling of good cards, bad cards. And I wanted to find the joy in even the darkest of cards. I believe that when we dislike a card, it actually says more about us than the cards. In fact, here we happen to be one of the cards I don't like, the Knight of Pentacles. So what I've done, obviously these are sort of original notes that I printed out to help me edit. I tried to start with sort of a little sentence that kind of sums up the whole card and then finish with a positive affirmation. So for the Knight of Pentacles, I've got slow and steady, reliable and loyal. This is a stable card you can rely upon. And then my affirmation is slow and steady will win the day. Well, you can call me many things, but slow and steady is not one of them. So this card is definitely, the reason I have issues with it sometimes is because it is picking up on some of my shadow. So when you get a card that you don't like, or that you have a difficult relationship with, because we do have relationships with the cards, it is saying more about you than it is the cards. And I'm hoping, there we go. Why do I struggle with the Queen of Cups? Deeply empathic and intuitive individual. Well, I couldn't be doing my job if that wasn't me. At times, she may be self-focused, absorbed in her own emotions. Well, for the last 20 years, that hasn't really been an option. Or she may over-nurture others as a way of avoiding her own emotional needs. Well, that would be me. And the affirmation is put yourself first, take some time for you. And in fact, that's what I have done. I realised I just couldn't keep up with all of my chosen responsibilities and I had to drop some. So I'm hoping that I can sort the tech issues out. and I'm hoping that I can come back to building some content on YouTube. I am just starting my next book. This will be probably self-published. I don't think I want to work with a publisher on this one. This has been a project I have been wanting to write for a very long time, and I have a few course students and friends who are rather keen to read this one. This one's going to have more of a story base to it, but it's going to be firmly woven around the cards. I haven't quite decided yet whether I want to include the Norse Shamanics or whether I want that to be in a separate book. So I'm just going to write the book and see where it takes me. But I'm hoping this time that I can find the space to blend the YouTube as well. Now, this is a brand new microphone and a brand new desk setup, so I'm not sure how easy it's going to be for me to reach across and turn off my computer and camera. So there might be just a slight pause, but I'm hoping that I can get to grips with this new setup and that it will provide a much better quality video for you.